We are Venom. Hey, what's up, guys and girls? This is Midori, and I'm back with another episode of Drawing with Midori. Now, the new Venom trailer just dropped about 2 to 3 days ago, and I'm pretty excited about this movie. At first, I was skeptical, I wasn't really too sure, and based on what I just saw, I am very, very happy with the result. Everybody was really wondering how Venom was going to look, how they was going to portray him, and so far from what I've seen, they pretty much nailed it. They nailed it. Coming off from the old Sam Raimi movies back in the early 2000s, you know, it left a bad taste in people's mouths in terms of how Venom was portrayed. So a lot of people were skeptical and worried of how they was going to pull it off in this new movie, and so far so good. It looks really, really good, and I like that they taking a sort of like a mix between a thriller and a horror type of approach for the Venom movie. But so far, it looks good. Some of the scenes was kind of iffy, but I like the fact that they taking cues from the comics where Venom, Eddie Brock doesn't just he's not just one person. He actually has the symbiote inside of him, so he sort of has like a sort of like schizophrenia, or he's talking to himself, not necessarily talking to himself, but it seems like he's talking to himself. So I like that approach that they're taking you know from the comics. And it's also similar to the past game that just came out from Ninja Theory, where it's called Hellblade, and the main character kind of, she has a struggle of hearing voices. So it's kind of similar to that, where in the trailer he says, why would we do that? It's not just I, it's we. And that's what I like the most, in terms of the approach. In terms of the design of Venom, he's sort of, they took, I feel like they took a combination of different eras of Venom. He seems like he's kind of in between the early 90s Venom and the late the early 2000s. He's kind of like a mix in terms of his design. And he's not too brolic and bulky in size, but at the same time he's like in between. He's like slim, but but at the same time still big. He's not as small and not as menacing as how they portrayed him in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3. So this new Venom looks pretty good. I really like the design. He's scary. They're taking the horror approach, and I really can't wait to see more. It's just the only thing I'm worried about is if they're gonna have Spider-Man in it. You can't have Venom without Spider-Man, even though this is his solo movie, and they sort of changing the origins a little bit, but somehow they gotta plug Spider-Man in there. Once they do that, I'm like, the movie's gonna be, it's gonna be perfect if Spider-Man, if they somehow figure out how to put him in there. Okay, so now on to the drawing. This stage where I'm at, I always do the mannequin, and right now I'm doing the first pass of the inking. So I'm not necessarily thinking too much about detail. This is just the basic line weight phase, like what I call like stage one of the inking process. And in this stage, you don't necessarily want to go too much in details and heavy inking, because once you start to use the alcohol-based markers, or if you're using watercolors, the ink is gonna really smudge a lot. So make sure you have a waterproof base ink or multi-liner. I'm using the Copic multi-liner, coming off from the Master Series multi-liner, which really smudges. You can find those on Amazon if you want those, but the Copic multi-liners are much better. And I could just do stage one layering, and I don't have to worry about the ink smudging everywhere. So I'm pretty happy with those Copics that I just bought. And again, I'm working on his eyes. His eyes are sort of these eyes, I feel like, yeah, these are not like they're not the bulky eyes. They're more, I feel like they're a lot slender in shape and not necessarily slender like the Carnage eyes, but I don't know. It's kind of like I said. They're taking from the early '90s and the early 2000s Venom and just combining it, which I like very much. Also with this piece, um, I kind of got inspiration from the trailer, exactly from the trailer, and I'm also trying to put my a little spin on it. So you're gonna see that it's not necessarily gonna be 100% realistic or exactly like the trailer. I'm sort of gonna take my own creative liberties with the design. Like you'll see, especially when it comes to the color, I'm gonna change it up a lot. So it's gonna look like Venom, but at the same time maybe a different version of him, you know. So I'm sort of gonna let this play out, and I'll be back in a few minutes. If you guys enjoyed the video. Oh, okay, I'm back, guys. Okay, so now this stage, this is where I start phase 2, and this is pretty much the first layer of the Copic markers. Now, um, I wanted to show values with this drawing and not necessarily make him completely black, which I see a lot of other artists are doing, and that's pretty much how he looks in the trailer. But in this particular drawing, I kind of wanted to show a little bit more color and, you know, reflect some of that color that, you know, that's pretty much coming from his environment. So I kind of, you know, took that idea and ran with it. So you're going to see that he's not going to be completely black. He's going to be sort of reflecting some of the color that's around him. And this drawing took about 4 hours to do on and off. I didn't go completely straight on 4 hours straight. What I did was took about 2 hours to do the line work and then took a break. And then came back the next day and do another 2 hours. Lately I've been working a lot, you know. I work a lot and I work full time, so I have less time to draw, but I still try to make time to produce one of these videos at least once a week. And I try to figure out how to fit them in there and make sure that the quality is decent and good, you know. So got to make time for that. And now I'm pretty much almost done with the third layer of values that I'm putting on Venom. Almost got it to how dark I want it to be, but I didn't want him to be completely black. Also, sorry for the little the wire got in the way of the camera. I eventually caught that later on. As you can see, he's getting a lot darker, but at the same time, he's not going to be completely pitch black. Didn't want his skin or the symbiote to be completely, you know, black in color, like pitch black. As you can see, I'm making his eyes sort of like a, you know, light aqua color and not necessarily 100% white. Okay, so I'm gonna let this play out a little bit more and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm pretty much back and I'm at the final stages of this drawing. As you can see, like I said, I didn't want him to be completely black. I want to show some values and make sure that his color sort of reflects his environment, and also to break up the a lot of the dark areas. I'm using a white ball pen to just add some highlights and some drool, make it real nasty, you know. At this point, I'm just adding some of the background that you see in the back, like, because in the movie trailer they're sort of like on the street, so I kind of just quickly put that in the background and sort of like try to mimic, like, yeah, that's the background and that's where all the light is coming from. Didn't really put too much detail in it, but I just wanted that to be at the back. And here I'm just using the Japanese photo brush and doing some effects with the symbiote. This video is coming to the end, guys. Remember to give this video a like. Please subscribe. I'm pretty much a new YouTuber and I would like to do more of these videos. You guys have a great day and I'll catch you guys later.